Department of Homeland Security announced that 800 active duty personnel will be sent to the border. They'll be joining 2,500 National Guard members who are already serving in the area. The move comes after border agents apprehended nearly 9,000 migrants along the entire border over the past 24 hours. 3 border sectors in Texas and 1 in Tucson are the busiest areas. Each of the sectors has seen more than 1,000 migrant crossings over the past day alone. No clear explanation has been given to tell us why this recent surge is happening right now. Many of the migrants face long and dangerous journeys to make it to the United States border. The Chief of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, addressed that today.
What we consider to be a humanitarian crisis is what the people endure on the journey to the border. In the hands of smugglers. We see so much trauma, so much tragedy.
Now, regardless, the sudden rise in border crossings is a major setback for the Biden administration. Following the end of Title 42 in May, the White House implemented numerous policies seeking to discourage unauthorized crossings. Now, at this point, Border Patrol agents are on track to apprehend more than 200,000 migrants this month alone. This would be the highest monthly total we've seen since May and December of last year. Back to you guys.
All right.